So, you finally booked that dream cruise. Sunsets over turquoise waters, unlimited buffet shrimp, a Broadway show at sea. What could possibly go wrong? Well, spoiler alert, pirates. Yep, real ones. Not the Johnny Depp kind with eyeliner and charm, but the modern-day version with speedboats, AK-47s, and zero chill. Turns out, while you're sipping mojitos by the pool, somewhere out on those same waters, someone might be trying to crash your floating vacation with a boarding ladder and a machine gun. Now don't panic, cruise ships are incredibly safe. Statistically, you're more likely to slip on the pool deck than be hijacked. But just like people still lock their doors at night, cruise lines take piracy very seriously. Today, we're diving deep, no pun intended, into how cruise ships deal with the real threat of pirate attacks. We'll look at jaw-dropping true stories, some impressive high seas tech, and exactly what happens when pirates try to take on a 90,000-ton luxury fortress. Spoiler, it doesn't end well. For the pirates. Okay, so why would anyone in their right mind try to mess with a massive cruise ship? I mean, it's basically a luxury hotel glued to a skyscraper that floats. Well, here's the thing. Pirates don't exactly go for logic. What they do go for is opportunity. And cruise ships? They're like floating jackpots. Thousands of passengers, hundreds of crew, expensive gear, luxury items, maybe a few naive billionaires sipping cocktails on the upper deck. To pirates, that's not a vacation. It's a potential ransom festival. Now, to be clear, pirates usually prefer easier targets like cargo ships or tankers, big, slow, low to the water, and usually without 2,000 retirees playing shuffleboard. But cruise ships pass through the same risky waters, like the Gulf of Aden, a stretch of ocean between Yemen and Somalia that's basically the Times Square of maritime crime. From 2008 to 2012, that region saw 149 reported pirate attacks. And get this, over 3,700 crew members were taken hostage during that time. That's not a scene from a movie, that's real-world data. And while cruise companies go to great lengths to avoid trouble, sometimes the pirates still try their luck. Because if you're cruising through their neighborhood, you're on their radar. Literally. So what happens when pirates decide to board the party boat? Let's take a look at some real-life high-seas drama that could have easily made it to Netflix. All right, grab your popcorn, because these next few minutes, they're straight out of an action movie. Except it actually happened, and nobody yelled, "Cut." Let's rewind to 2005 off the coast of Somalia. The luxury cruise ship Seabourn Spirit, a vessel carrying 151 passengers enjoying fine dining, spa treatments, and probably a very overpriced martini, is suddenly approached by not one, but two pirate boats. Armed, aggressive, and firing RPGs like it's a video game. Yes, rocket-propelled grenades, at a cruise ship. Passengers ran for cover, crew members locked down the decks, and chaos briefly reigned. But the captain? Cool under pressure. He started steering the ship in a zigzag pattern, creating waves to throw the pirate boats off. One of them almost capsized. Meanwhile, the crew deployed a high-tech device called an LRAD, long-range acoustic device. Basically, a speaker on steroids that blasts ear-splitting sound waves strong enough to make your brain file a noise complaint. The pirates eventually gave up. No one was injured, the buffet remained untouched, but it was a serious wake-up call for the cruise industry. Hey, maybe we need more than just towel animals for protection. Fast forward to 2009, and here we go again. This time it's the MSC Melody, a cruise ship cruising about 200 miles from the Seychelles. Out of nowhere, 6 small pirate boats appear. And unlike guests, these guys didn't come for the all-you-can-eat shrimp. They start throwing ladders up the side of the ship like it's Pirates of the Caribbean, the cruise ship edition. But this ship came prepared. The cruise line had hired an Israeli security team, and those guys weren't playing around. Shots were fired. Pirates returned fire. In the end, the attack was repelled, and the only real damage was to passengers' nerves, and maybe their sense of cruise-induced invincibility. No fatalities. No hostage situations. But the point was made loud and clear. These pirate attacks aren't just hypotheticals. They're happening, and cruise lines need to bring more than sunscreen and shuffleboard to the table. So, how exactly do modern cruise ships defend themselves from modern pirates? Glad you asked. Alright, so what happens when pirates try to crash your vacation? Do cruise ships just sound the horn, hand out paddles, and hope for the best? Absolutely not. Behind the glamour of your floating resort lies a pretty impressive arsenal of high-tech wizardry, tactical playbooks, and yes, even a few tricks that would make Batman jealous. First up, early detection. Modern cruise ships are basically floating surveillance centers. They've got radar, sonar, thermal cameras, and enough radio equipment to rival a military base. The goal? Spot trouble way before it gets close enough to become a selfie opportunity. Once a potential threat shows up on the radar, the captain has a few slick tricks up their sleeve. Change course, speed up, go full evasive maneuvers. You'd be surprised, cruise ships can actually haul it when they need to. Pirates usually roll in on smaller boats, which means they're fast, but not Titanic with twin turbos fast. And if the pirates do get closer, that's when it gets creative. Enter the long-range acoustic device, or LRAD. Imagine the world's most annoying alarm clock cranked to brain melting. It emits high-frequency sound waves that can cause severe nausea, headaches, and hearing loss. Basically, it screams at pirates until they go home and reconsider their life choices. Then we've got water cannons, and no, not the fun ones from amusement parks. These beasts can blast over 5,000 liters per minute at 175 psi, strong enough to knock people off boats or send smaller vessels spinning like a toy in a bathtub. Also great for cleaning the deck, probably. Now, if that's not enough, there's the P-trap system. It's not a plumbing issue, it's actually genius. Imagine heavy-duty ropes dragging behind the ship, waiting to catch and entangle the propellers of approaching pirate boats. It's passive, sneaky, and wildly effective. Pirates get caught, engines stall, and suddenly that high-seas robbery turns into an awkward rescue call. And it doesn't end there. Some ships even have non-lethal weapon kits. Think bright strobes, high-pressure hoses, and even paintball guns loaded with dye rounds to mark pirate boats for air or naval tracking later. Oh, and yes, some cruise ships do hire armed security teams. These aren't mall cops with whistles. We're talking ex-military trained professionals with real weapons. Their job? Keep the pirates off the boat and the passengers on vacation. Now, cruise companies don't love to advertise this stuff. It's not exactly brochure material, but make no mistake, when the stakes are high, the security is higher. Coming up next, what happens when pirates push too far and the big guns show up? The navies of the world. All right, let's say the pirates aren't scared off by the deafening sound cannons, the water bazookas, or the fancy ropes of doom. What then? That's when the cruise ship hits the panic button, and the real muscle arrives: naval support. Cruise ships don't travel alone through high-risk areas. They're often quietly monitored by the good folks over at the US Navy, NATO, and other international military forces. These are the grown-ups in the ocean sandbox. And when pirates show up uninvited, the response is, let's say, swift and not so subtle. Warships in the area get pinged and move into action. Within minutes, the scene goes from possible attack to welcome to a floating weapons platform with 360-degree radar and a very bad attitude. One of the Navy's favorites? The Phalanx CIWS, or Close-In Weapon System. Picture a machine gun with a mind of its own. It detects incoming threats, boats, drones, seagulls who look a little suspicious, and blasts them out of the water before they can say, "Arr." Then there's the Aegis Combat System. Sounds like something from the Avengers, right? It kinda is. It's a computerized nerve center that can monitor hundreds of targets, control missiles, and guide every weapon on board like a symphony of destruction. And when pirates realize they've been flagged by the US Navy, they typically hit the throttle in the other direction. Because unlike cruise ships, naval destroyers don't serve cocktails and they're not here to negotiate. Now, of course, navies don't just blow pirate boats out of the water. There are international laws, rules of engagement, and a big old stack of paperwork involved. Pirates who are captured alive are handed over for prosecution under maritime law, depending on who has jurisdiction. But make no mistake, when military forces step in, it's not a bar fight. It's a one-sided chess game and the pirates are already in checkmate. So, what's the situation today? Are pirates still out there, hiding behind waves and binoculars, waiting to pounce on the next carnival cruise? Short answer, yep. Longer answer, yep. But they're not having much luck with cruise ships these days. Thanks to naval patrols, smarter routes, and some serious anti-piracy tech, Attacks on cruise ships are now rare. Not gone, but rare. Cruise lines are beefing up security too. Surveillance, drills, even pirate briefings if you're sailing through sketchy waters. Welcome aboard! Here's your key. And what to do if pirates show up. Yeah, real thing. Most ships now just avoid risky areas altogether or travel with company. And if things go sideways? These ships are prepped like floating fortresses, with a pool and buffet, of course. Pirates still exist, but the chances of them crashing your cruise? Roughly the same as finding decent Wi-Fi in the middle of the ocean. So no, don't panic, but maybe don't ignore the safety briefing either. So yeah, cruise ships, not just floating resorts, they're floating Fort Knox with mojitos. And pirates? Turns out, they don't do so well against sound cannons and water hoses from hell. If you enjoyed this little dive into danger on the high seas, hit that like button, subscribe the channel, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Would you still take that dream cruise miter through pirate waters? Until next time, bon voyage and maybe pack earplugs, just in case.